Hey there, awesome people. I am Brooke Summer, and you are listening to Business Straight Up, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn, connect, grow, and build the business and life that they dream of. Welcome, let's get going and dive right in. Welcome back, amazing business owners, to another episode of Business Straight Up, the podcast and place to be for creatives and photographers who want to actually make a living doing what they love. I am coming back to you today from my hotel room in New York City, and I'm actually sitting in bed because I am so tired, you guys. I'm so inspired, though, by this city. It has always been one of my favorite places. And I wanted to do these kind of mini episodes. I've never done this before. I like to be super prepared when I do my episodes. And these have been more of coming to you because of what's on my heart, because of what I've seen, what I've experienced through the day, and what I wanted to share. So they're going to be a little bit shorter. They're going to be a little bit different. The audio might sound a little weird, although tonight I am trying my wired headphones instead of wireless because I did get some feedback from my beautiful editor, Grace, that there is some weird noises going on. And I don't know what happened, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going forward because done is better than perfect. Let's say that again for everyone to hear because I need to hear it again too. Done is better than perfect. So we're going to call this New York City Adventures Day 2. And I know it seems like I'm just kind of doing a video diary, but I do have things to share that I come across throughout the day that have to do with business. I am forever seeing things that are business related, not just from a business perspective, but today specifically from an art perspective. So today I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I walked the entire museum except for Asia. Now, after about 3 hours at the Met, I had to borrow a wheelchair, so my arms got a workout today. They're not quite used to that. But I wandered the museum for 5 hours, you guys. I was so excited. I loved geeking out on all of the art stuff. And I came across a piece in the more modern section of the museum that really, really struck me. And I wanted to share a little bit with you. It came from, the artist is listed as Gorilla Girls. It's a lithograph, and it was from 1989. Now, the numbers that I'm going to share with you are from this work of art, this lithograph. Just know that they probably have changed because there's percentages involved, and 1989 was a while ago, so they probably changed a little bit. But the statement on the lithograph says, "Do women have to be naked to get into the Met Museum? Less than 5% of the artists in the modern art sections are women, but 85% of the nudes are female." Now, I actually had two responses to this. As an artist, as a feminist, as a woman, I had two different responses to this. My first response was, well, of course, 85% of the nudes are going to be female because, let's be real, girls are beautiful. We just have beautiful curves and beautiful bodies, and I'm a boudoir photographer, and I see the beauty in women. We're also beautiful because of the things that we have gone through in our lives, the adversity that we've faced. And let's be real, our culture definitely leans towards the men. There's so many examples of this. I'm not going to go into too many of them right now, but we absolutely are a beautiful side of humanity. And not to say guys aren't beautiful, but they're different. We're different, and that's a beautiful thing. But my second response to this was, why is it that only 5% of the artists in the modern art sections are female? Now, again, this statistic was from 1989, so it has probably changed, but I would venture that it probably hasn't changed that much. I would imagine that we're probably still the vast minority of artists that are celebrated, that are seen, and that are recognized for our work. And I'm speaking to all of my creative business owners out there because, especially as females, we have not only a privilege, but a responsibility to be sharing our work for so many reasons. First of all, so that we can reach the people that we want to impact, right? I know for me, I'm a boudoir photographer. Showing women that they have an inherent value and worth and power, not because of who they are, what they look like, who they're married to, what they do, but just because they're human, is something that is so near and dear to my heart. And if I wasn't showing my work and putting myself out there, then these women wouldn't be able to find me. I wouldn't be able to impact those women in such a positive way. That's the first reason that we must be sharing our work. Second, we need to be sharing our work and what we do for our fellow ladies, for the other women in the world that need to see what's possible. I share my work for the women that I want to work with and impact. However, I share my work and my expertise in teaching because I want to be an example of what's possible. You guys, you can run a multiple six-figure business doing what you love. It absolutely is possible. There was a guy a few years ago who posted in a Facebook group locally and said, "There is no one that makes six figures doing photography, and if they say they do, they're lying." Total bullshit. And so many of my students who were local said, "Actually, Brooke does," and he kept calling them liars. And I love seeing the pendulum swing the other way. We are starting to have these conversations more about money, and we are starting to have these conversations more about abundance and what's possible. Because you deserve to be making a good living when you run a business, when you're serving your clients well, when you're loving on them fiercely and you're doing an excellent job at whatever it is that you do for them. You deserve to be making a living, a good living. You deserve to be making more than minimum wage. You deserve to be making more than just scraping by. We have a responsibility to share our work so that we can show other women what's possible. And you know what? There will be haters. There are going to be women out there who will talk bad about you because of it. And I have had my fair share. You guys, I have people locally who have called me terrible names. People that said they were friends that would go to local photographer events and then call me a certain four-letter word that starts with a C to everyone in that room. I have had people call me terrible names. But guess what? It's not enough to stop what it is that I want to do. And I want to be an example. I want to show other women what's possible. And any of the guys that are along for the ride, because let me tell you, I do have some male students and they are badass. They are the kind of guys who will lift women up instead of tearing them down. And you know what? I am so here for that. And we all need to be. We all need to be sharing our work so that we can look at each other and say, holy moly, she is doing it. And if she can, I can too. A rising tide truly lifts all ships. The biggest mistake most photographers and creative business owners make is thinking that learning another technique or buying new gear or software or lighting will bring them success in their business. And I totally understand. I did this too. New gear is always fun, right? New toys. But I wanted to really make a living with my creative photography business, not just have fun toys. So I devoured every online resource that told me to buy this lens, this preset, or this software. And that would be the answer to my problem. And what was that problem? No paying clients. Question for you. Does every creative or photographer that runs a successful and profitable business go out and immediately buy all the new gear? Of course not. If you continue to hold on to the belief that fancy gear or the next new shiny object will help, not only will you not book the clients and customers you want, but you might even have to shut down your business completely and go back to working for someone else to grow their bottom line, instead of building your own dreams and supporting your family doing what you love in a schedule that allows you freedom to design your life. You start focusing on the business side of running a business, because business is ultimately about two things: leads and sales. So how are you getting those leads and sales? Email marketing is one of the most powerful marketing tools available and has helped me grow my multiple six-figure photography business in a niche that is often ostracized and criticized in the photography industry. It is also one of the most ignored tools for creative business owners. Email marketing can allow you to reach out to potential clients where they're at, in their inbox, and remind them that you have an amazing service to offer them. Starting an email list and actually knowing what to do with it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. The real question is, do you really want to keep chasing that fancy new gear that's on your wish list? Or do you want to learn how to use this unique and powerful marketing tool to book the clients that will actually pay you so you can design your life with the freedom that you really want? Join me for my free masterclass all about email marketing, where we will break down this powerful tool and how to actually use it to grow your business and ultimately your revenue and your income. You got into business because you love what you do. So let's start building a tool that will allow you to do that, right? Sign up for the masterclass at businessstraightedup.com/workshop. Space is limited, so make sure to grab your spot. The masterclass will be in the beginning of December. I can't wait to see you there. So number one, we need to be showing our work to affect the people that we want to affect, to have the impact that we want to have. And number two, we need to be showing our work to be an example of what's possible. And I apologize if I'm all over the place. This is not scripted. I'm just speaking from my heart. But that's number one. And number two, I do want to take us into number three. And I want to kind of give a caveat here that if you don't have children, that's okay. You don't want to have children, that's okay. I have no judgment either way. But I can tell you right now that as soon as I had my daughter, my work changed exponentially. And I have a son as well. I have a 17-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter. And when I had my daughter, my work changed so much for so many reasons. But the third reason that we need to be showing our work is to open up doors for future generations. As I climb, I'm going to lift other people up too. And as we all climb, we need to be lifting other people up, because that will open more and more doors for the girls of today who will be the women of tomorrow. Their daughters and their daughters after that. Can you imagine what would have happened if the women, what are we at, 100 years ago, weren't fighting for the right to vote? A little more than 100 years ago, but last century, women were fighting for the right to vote. What are we fighting for that we can hand to the women that come after us? And even if you don't have kids, what about the little girls that are out there that are looking at the women around them? Do you have nieces? Do you have friends who have daughters? Think about all of these little girls that are going to step into the world that we are creating as female entrepreneurs, female business owners, and female artists who actually make a living doing what they love. They're going to see that as an example. So it kind of blends in with number two, but this is even bigger than us. This is for the next generation and the generation after. What are we leaving behind as our legacy? Are we going to leave behind a legacy where we were unapologetic in showing our work, even when it maybe wasn't the best work out there? Like my last podcast episode that had some weird sounds in it, but you know what? I'm going to put it out anyway. It's going to be published, because it's so important that we put things out there. You never know who you might be impacting, and it may not be right now. My podcast episode that goes live, that I recorded yesterday, it may not necessarily affect someone when it goes live. It may not even be in the next year. Maybe someone in 5 years will hear that podcast episode and it might affect them. Maybe my daughter will hear it a long time from now. She'll go through my stuff after I'm gone and find it and she'll hear something that matters to her. We need to think about lifting others as we climb, because the things that we have to fight for today should not be the things that we have to fight for in 50 years. We should be taking these steps up. Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. We need to be taking steps consistently, which means a little bit of vulnerability. It means putting ourselves out there. It means maybe not showing up as completely perfect. It means doing something even though we're scared, because we need to consider that the things that we have been gifted with, the gifts that we have been given, are not just for us. Do they serve us? Yes, absolutely. But they're not just for us. They're for the world. They're for the people that we are meant to impact. And we need to consider the people that are watching, not just now, not just in a year, but further down the line. So, this one lithograph from the Guerrilla Girls just brought up a whole bunch of stuff today. I'm actually going to read the little narrative that was next to the lithograph. In 1989, the Public Art Fund in New York commissioned the Guerrilla Girls, a collective of feminist activists who maintain their anonymity by wearing gorilla masks in public, to design a billboard. They visited the Met to compare the number of women artists represented in modern art galleries with the number of naked female bodies in the artworks on display. The Public Art Fund ultimately rejected their design as a billboard, and the Guerrilla Girls found an alternate public venue for the poster, New York buses. So this was actually on buses. The poster has achieved iconic status for its eye-catching graphic design as well as its message, which called out the lack of gender diversity in the museum and in the 1980s art world at large. I really, really loved this piece. And you guys, I took so many pictures today. I enjoyed myself today. And I really hope that in all of this, if you're listening to this, that there are a few takeaways. First of all, the things we just talked about, putting yourself out there when it's not perfect, sharing your work, sharing your gift with the rest of the world. But I also want to offer this takeaway as well. You need to do something for yourself. I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art today because every time I have been to New York, the people that I have been with didn't want to go to any of the museums. And that was heartbreaking for me. So when I was presented with this opportunity to go to New York, I decided I'm going, even though, quite frankly, there were some members of my family that were not happy about it. I decided I was going to go, and I am here, alone, by myself, until my family comes in later in the week, doing what I want to do, which is rare. We might have to talk a little bit more about that in a later episode. I really, really, really want to encourage you to share your work, share your gift, put yourself out there, market your business. There will be haters, but guess what? Their opinions don't pay your bills, and thinking about it is making you nothing. I hope that this has been a blessing in your earbuds today. We're going to call this Adventures in New York City, Day 2. And I hope to be able to record one tomorrow night as well. However, I am super excited to go and see my friend, hopefully in Hamilton. He is the understudy for Aaron Burr, and maybe he might be on stage tomorrow. Either way, I'm going to see Hamilton tomorrow. I'm so excited, but hopefully I'll get to see him as well. If I don't record tomorrow, you'll know why, because I'll be singing Hamilton to myself, trying not to sing too loud in the theater. Have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, you were given a very special gift for a reason. If something is on your heart, there is a reason. Don't ignore that. I can't wait to see what you do with your business and how you impact the rest of the world, not just now, but for generations. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for listening to Business Straight Up. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Check out the show notes for this and all of the episodes at businessstraightuppodcast.com. And I can't wait to talk with you again. Have a great day.